All right, it's another episode of The Grow Show with Keshelle
And Glenn.
And listen, we are excited today. This is episode
13.
13
Yes.
of season 2. So listen, if you are watching this episode, because I know you're going to watch this episode. If you're watching this episode and have not gone back to the previous episodes or missed any, go back and watch them. Comment, let us know what you think. Let us know if anything resonates with you, yeah?
Yeah. Any suggestions, any topics, anything that you would like for us to discuss, let us know.
And also subscribe and share. All right, so we got all that stuff out of the way. This topic, I am excited about this topic. And we finally are getting to do this topic. And it is boldly breaking away. So if you know, this season theme is growing boldly. And so today in our episode, we're talking about boldly breaking away. What does that mean? That means how to plan and enjoy 30-day vacations as a couple. I know y'all been waiting for this. People have been asking us lots of questions. We wanted to do some type of something years back when we've had our earlier vacations, but we thought this was time.
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of requests. How do you plan 30-day vacation? What do you take with you? How do you pack? And so it's a lot of questions coming around it. Even from season 1, we got those questions. And so we finally decided, you know what? Let's talk give a little bit
Let's
detail.
create some content. Let's talk about it. And just to give some context, this year, 2024, made our 7th. Did you count? Or I count? Because you know my counting sometimes.
Yeah, numbers. Your numbers don't mean numbering, but.
So did you confirm that?
We've been doing it from 2017.
2017. Do we count 2020?
Yes, because we did go in 2020, but we didn't go for the full 30 days, and we didn't go international, but we did local.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have to count.
So that's 7th or 8th?
7.
Okay, so I got it right. 7th. So it's our 7th 30-day vacation this year, and we have a lot that we've learned over the 7 years of traveling this way, and we want to share those with you. Before we do, I think you have an important point to share about. It doesn't have to be 30.
Yeah, one of the part of the discussion that we had in terms of I don't like to be absolute, and so 30 days may not be feasible for somebody, and you may be able to do 15, you may be able to do 10, you may be able to do 20. And so we don't want you to feel like it has to be 30 days. But the idea is to break away as a couple and really try to enjoy yourself. And it's not for everybody.
And it's
not for everybody. You will know if this thing can work for you. And if it doesn't work for you, that is still
creative.
Okay.
Be creative and come up with something else.
Yeah.
And I love that because I also believe, and we're going to go through the points, but I also believe to stretch yourself too. Yeah. Because you may be thinking you cannot do 30 days for whatever reason. But when you sit down and you stretch yourself and you say, hey, you know what, look at it and be open to the possibilities. It may be for you. Yeah. It may be something that you can do. And so that's why either way you have to decide. I'm a proponent for 30-day vacations. I could be absolute. Yeah. He doesn't want to be, I could be absolute. Because we have how many weeks?
Of vacation?
No, how many weeks in the year? 52 weeks,
52,
365 days. 30 out of them got to be vacation. At least 30. That's just me.
For you. But that may not work for somebody else who only have 2 weeks.
Yes.
And who only have 3 weeks. And so we don't want to put that kind of pressure. Just want to know that you could be flexible with it. Now let's get into the meat of the matter.
So we are trainers. If you don't know that, we train, we teach for a living, and we believe in framework. So it made sense for us to think of how can we give these lessons to you in some type of framework. And the framework that we're going to give it in is the word vacation.
Yay!
Vacation. So write that down. We're going to give you how much points it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8 or 9. You follow along.
I don't know why you do the number thing, babes. The numbers don't work for you.
Okay, so V has to do with vision and decision making. I think that's tied to what we just were talking about, right? And that is really planning and deciding on the vacation. And it starts with vision. I believe everything starts with vision. And for us, I am a visionary person. I am going to think big. I'm going to ask myself, what if? And I'm going to allow that what if to be as big and quote unquote impossible as much as I could. And so the vision, you have to see, first of all, yourself doing it. When I first got the vision, I brought it to Glenn, and Glenn didn't see it at first. You didn't see it at first.
No, 'cause I'm seeing the money, like where does money come
Yes,
from?
I
How
don't, when I,
we going to sustain this?
Right.
And so I don't care how big and grand the vision is.
Yes.
The vision need money to support it, and so that's where my mind.
That's where his mind was. For me,
Yeah.
when I think vision, I don't think money first. I think vision. I'm like, what do I want? And then the planning, the money starts to solidify it. And so that really where each of us came together. I'm like, babes, I want to do 30 days. Let's test it. And then it was a decision, although he was asking for money, I can't remember back then what the real conversation was. But eventually we decided we're going to test this thing. We're going to do it.
To be transparent, the very first one was not 30 days.
Really?
No,
Which one?
we did about 2 or 3 weeks.
Ah.
Yes.
Okay. See, I
Yes,
forgot
we
that.
didn't.
That was
yes.
New York, New Jersey.
No. Remember we went Jamaica in 2017?
Oh, I didn't even count that.
And we did, I think we did like 2.5 weeks. We couldn't do the
Okay.
30 days.
See?
The following year,
Was our first
Yes,
30 days.
yes.
Okay. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
We didn't start off doing 30-day
Yeah.
vacations. So
we
that's a really
wanted
good-
to, but at the time,
We couldn't do it.
we couldn't do it because of, again, resources, and we didn't plan for it.
Correct.
We didn't
Yeah.
plan for it.
All right, so have a vision, make the decision that, hey, look at what's possible, look at calendars, because how it worked for us when we talk about it may not be possible for you.
Yeah.
Glenn he works for the university, so summers off is common for him. I worked for myself, so I can decide when and how to take time off. And so that's pretty much how it all started. So decide and have the vision that it's possible, right? Even if the money is not there first, you have to decide it. Because I had written down 30 days even before I came to you, like a year, 2 years, that I know I wanted to do that. Then again, eventually it came.
I'm going to dare to differ. Like I said, in the very first part of it, we wanted to, but we did not. Planning it makes more sense.
Yes.
When we started to plan it, that's when the 30 days was possible. So just getting up and say, I want to do 30-day vacation may not be feasible, but if you plan for it,
Yes.
save for it, and do all that stuff, then it's possible. Because that's why it didn't work the first year.
Right.
'Cause we didn't plan for it.
And you still have to be a visionary even before you think it's feasible. That's how I believe. So I think this is our strengths coming out, right? So he's the planner, I'm the visionary. So in my mind, I wrote down 30-day vacations because I could look back at my vision board way before I brought it to you. So
I think you're telling a story from what happened as opposed to telling the story from what we need to do. Because in hindsight, if we had known some things before, we would have planned better. And so now we're getting better at it because we have been able to plan for it.
But it starts with vision.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah, the vision is there, but you still have to plan for the vacation to be
Yes,
effective.
which comes in all of the other steps.
Because then I'm going to be transparent about when we took our vacation in
Don't say it
2019.
yet. Don't say it yet.
Okay then.
Because
so the planning is important.
Listen.
Let's move
we
along.
say the
Let's
same
move along the line because
Okay, so you have to have vision, you have to
Yes.
decide that this is something you want to do, and then of course planning comes in at 8. Accommodations. Let's go because
because if I leave it up to Keshelle, she will plan these vacations and just go and just spend randomly. And like, no, we can't spend randomly. We have to work within confinements.
We come into that.
We have to work within budget.
You're talking another letter. That's
all right,
another
okay.
letter. A.
Okay.
A is accommodations, right? So choosing where to stay. So in 30 days, again, we're giving the context from 30 days. You can change how you want it. 30 days, you have to make that decision as far as where you stay. Hotel, Airbnb, high-end, low-end.
Family members, no
Family members, no
yeah.
family members, friends, no
Yeah,
friends.
yeah, we've done all.
And
right?
we've done all, right? We've done every single one, and I don't think there was one better or worse than the other.
Based on the circumstances, we would have stayed with family or friends, or stayed in Airbnb, stayed in hotel. So you determine that.
Yeah, you determine that, and there's no formatting or rule per se. You may prefer more hotel than Airbnb is, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So you decide. I think for us, what we have come to appreciate is over our 30 days, it's been a combination of low-end Airbnbs, high-end hotels, and everything in between. Friends, family, foe.
Yeah.
Because it's a matter of, okay, we have a amount of money, and this is where his strength comes in. Because for me, I probably would want to spend all the money on some high-end option. But with the 30 days, we do both, and it creates more of the adventure.
Yeah. And then some people would ask, well, how you decide where to go?
Well, that's coming.
That comment? Okay.
You ain't reading the show notes.
All right, go ahead then.
So C is cost and budgeting. So you run with that. That's managing savings, budgeting expenses. You talk about that. Cause see, this is the planning piece right here. Go ahead, sir.
So again, as I mentioned earlier, you could have all the vision that you want to have. You could have all the grand plans of what you want to have. The truth and the matter and the reality of it. We often don't have all the money that we need, and we cannot spend all the money on a vacation. So you want to be able to plan. And so my strength is budgeting and planning, determine how much I want to spend on this, how much I want to spend on that, and come up with a figure so we can know what we're working with. If I leave it up to Keshelle, we'll just be spending, and then be stranded somewhere in Japan. I'm like, no, we need to determine.
Okay, tell the story now, because I know you have a story.
We need to determine. So,
tell your story.
So in 2019, we planned. We planned. No, in 2019 we planned.
That was one of our.
When we went to Europe.
First. No, that was the second 30 day, and we
planned, but we over budgeted, and literally end up spending money that we shouldn't have spent. And when we got home, we couldn't even find a plate of food to eat. Like we didn't even have money to buy a plate of food.
But
we had the best
our
time
lives.
You know what I'm saying? But again, this is where planning comes in, and setting budgets and setting boundaries, because everybody may not be able to just spend.
Yeah.
You have family, you have other responsibilities, and I think that wasn't wise that year, but I can't change anything.
I wouldn't change it. It was a lesson.
Yeah, it was a lesson. So now,
lessons.
Now every year I have a cushion that when I get home, I have X amount of dollars to be able to, if I leave it up to Keshelle,
see, I live to travel, so I don't mind.
We'll be stranded calling people like at home.
You know, I don't mind.
We stranded in the airport, can you? We stranded in a plane somewhere, can you? No.
So yeah, have the detail. And let me say this too, because I think even that 2019 trip to Europe was important. Someone, because we're talking about as a couple, so one of you have to have that natural planning and detailed strength and skill.
Usually in most relationship, one person is the planner and the next person
allow them to do what they do, right? And sometimes I have my issues, because we had a conversation.
That's a whole different show, y'all. That's a whole different show.
But in the grand scheme of things, allow the planners to plan.
And stop telling the planner you got it when you know you ain't got it, all right?
So yeah, that's another show. We got time for that. That's not, So A, which is another one, activities and packing. No, activities, I want you to go to the packing piece. Okay. Activities as to kind of how do we plan activities? For us, we tend to just go on how we feel and then what's adventurous. We do not shop.
Yeah.
So it's not a shopping.
It's not a shopping vacation. So that's a whole different show. So you got to check the other people.
Yeah.
But
so it's
we don't
adventure.
Really shop. It's more adventure for us.
Experience and that. So packing also comes under activities, because we have to pack for that 30 days. You're the expert.
Packing is different for a man as opposed to a woman. So for me, packing requires about 3 pairs of jeans, 2 or 3 short pants, and a bunch of tops. All right?
Now let's go further. Packing the first several years. was solely on 30 days. I mean, on a carry-on, which
Yeah.
is what I think people are shocked.
Yeah,
to hear.
and it's still a carry-on, and it's still,
I
it's still,
switched,
it's, yeah,
so
it's still a
I switched.
carry-on, or even if it's not a carry-on, it's still not the big suitcase, it's still
Or
the
multiple
medium,
suitcases.
the medium. No, we don't have multiple.
That's what I'm
okay,
saying. I
yeah.
want you to stress
We
that.
don't have multiple suitcases, it's either the carry-on or it's the size a little above the carry-on, or something that expandable. I would always say get a suitcase that expandable.
Yeah.
All right? And so, and then you pack some underwears and t-shirt, and no bunch of shoes. Like for me, I will take one tennis or probably a slippers, and then you change up the shirts and the tops and all that stuff
Yeah.
with your tennis and your slippers.
Yeah, I know we had a previous episode where Anishka shared how she packs for her
Yeah.
travel as well. So go ahead and watch it if you haven't. I think the thing with packing is discipline too, because one year, I think it was maybe that Europe year too, I had one shoe. Like that, remember that orange
That one
tennis?
orange tennis was in every
That was
outfit.
it. Whether it matched or it didn't
No,
match.
that's what the tennis
that
would go.
was going
Yeah.
because that was our first main
Yeah.
where we jumped from location to location.
And when you go on these vacations, you do a lot of walking.
Exactly.
I don't care where you go, you do a lot of walking.
Yeah.
And,
And
so
we-
you need comfortable shoes or comfortable
Yeah,
tennis.
and we had, at least for me, from the woman's perspective, that was hard.
Yeah.
That was hard to say, okay, I'm only gonna limit to these things because we were literally on a carry-on.
Yeah.
And so it was no shopping, we didn't establish that. And it was no 2 and 3 shoes or a bunch of jeans, it was I remember even whatever we bought, at least for me, there were things that we bought, so like flip-flops or what have you. By the time it was just time to pack again to go to the next location, I had to decide if those flip-flops or anything coming.
And again, it all depends on where you're going. If you're going somewhere to be there in that location where you're
Solely.
mostly stationary, then you may want to take a bigger suitcase.
Yeah.
But for us, because we were going from city to city and you were going on
Trains
trains,
and
different
bottom-
planes and all that stuff, because every time you go on a different plane, the costs increase if you have to check in stuff and all that, different scenarios that goes with traveling.
Yeah.
Especially if you travel into Europe and in those countries, you don't need to have a bunch of luggage pulling behind you on the train and all that stuff. So that's different.
Yeah.
I know when we went Canada, it was different. You could have taken a little
bit
bigger
bigger.
bag, which is expandable.
Yeah.
And because we weren't moving as much,
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know,
and this year I took a big bag. We were in California.
yeah, you took a bigger bag, but
took
it
a big
still
bag.
was
It
a
was just-
medium
and it was
size.
just
It wasn't the big size. It
Was it a
still
big
was a
one?
medium size.
Yeah. So you have to sacrifice
Yeah.
what goes into that suitcase because you don't want to lug around so much.
And then for women, you have to understand that you're not going on a fashion show, so you don't need 6 pairs of shoes or 10 pairs of shoes. You don't need to bring all the makeup set. Some people just have a bag just for shoes.
Yeah.
When you have to travel places like Europe, you cannot manage or maneuver effectively with 3 and 4 big pieces of luggage.
Yeah.
You're gonna look crazy. All right? And so you want to make sure, depending on the location,
Yeah.
you pack accordingly.
Before we go to the next part, I think this is an important piece. It may have come under cost, but also activities and packing, and that is cooking, right?
Oh no, we don't cook. On vacation, we
Glenn
don't
and
cook
Keshelle
or what?
cook
No,
on
we don't
vacation.
cook on vacation. But again, for some people, it may be possible. They may
This
rent
is it.
Airbnb, because we had spaces, we had
Of
cooking
course.
facilities, but we just don't cook. We enjoy the time eating out, going out, and so
Yeah.
we don't
so
cook.
in your
But-
budgeting, you could decide
Yes.
whether you use cooking to save money
Yes.
or whether or not, like us.
Oh,
I
yeah,
remember
cooking-
we went
cooking
to
will save you
Canada,
money.
and the lady was like, "Would you all eat cook?" I was
Yeah,
like, "We don't
no,
cook
we don't cook.
on vacation."
No.
That's
Cook for
but
what?
you on vacation.
That's when you
cook
home.
it. Why you
But cooking can help you to save.
save? So
Maybe,
that comes under
maybe
the
or maybe
decision.
not too. Because then again, some people don't like to eat the same food that
Yeah.
they cook over.
Yeah.
So you could be cooking a lot and the money still add up.
Yeah,
it all
so you
depends.
decide.
Yeah.
Transportation, we got a couple of the key points, and I know we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Transportation, same thing. You decide from do you want to drive? Do you want to Uber?
Uber, rent a car. Like this year, for the first time, we grew boldly.
We grew
by
boldly.
renting a car. 'Cause we never usually rent vehicles. We usually just
Uber it
jump
out.
on an Uber, jump on a
train.
bus, jump on a train. But this year we decided, you know what, we're gonna do a long road trip and we're gonna rent vehicles. And so that was a growing point for us too.
Yeah.
Driving on the highways and all that stuff. So you also have to determine.
Yeah, decide that. Interactions and relationship rules, maintaining
Wait,
harmony.
vacation,
Yeah.
VACA.
TI.
Okay.
Maintaining harmony and communications with your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's a 30 days with your spouse, meaning you are with that person
Straight through.
every
You
day
can
for
imagine
30 days.
in each other's space every single day. It's no work to get a break. It's no
Yes.
church to get a break. It's no going anywhere to get a break. So you have to determine how you're gonna manage that.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you get a break. That's not what you would usually do. You'll get a day or two where
Yeah.
you just go to the
Do my own
bookstore or
thing,
do
yeah.
your
But that's really, I didn't do that at all this year.
Yeah, no,
we
we
literally was in each other's space.
yeah, we was in each other's space.
30 days.
And we ain't arguing.
We ain't
ain't fuss.
argue.
For the first time in 7 years.
That's
We
true.
have an argument every vacation.
You sure?
Every vacation, there is always a drama between Keshelle and Glenn. And I talk about drama on the
So
vacation.
I remember us having one year, and this is where this I came in, relationship rules, interactions and relationship rules, where we said, we was like, look, we are not gonna argue on this trip. Which you remember which year that was? And we did very well.
Yeah, we did very well, but every year something. And we have managed it well. So how does it even get in there?
Because it's relationship rules, have the
Yeah,
rules
yeah,
for
yeah.
your relationship during this term.
Yeah.
To set how you want your
Yeah.
relationship to go.
Okay, all right. Yeah, but I just want to be transparent. We argued every year.
I don't remember arguing
But this year was the only year
Nice
we
again,
did
so.
not argue. And a lot of times when we argue, it's because of Keshelle. Keshelle wants to spend. I'm like, no, we ain't gonna spend, because we gotta
You
go
think
home
that's
to
the
pay.
whole reason why we argue?
That's a lot of the times why we argue about the financial part of it.
Okay.
But like I said, we have grown and we have managed the process in this year. We didn't even argue once, not even.
one. You maybe annoyed me one
Yeah,
time,
but we didn't argue.
but that was a
Yeah.
very short annoyance because I didn't even remember.
And that's important to know because people see you on the vacation, they see it, you think sometimes you still butt heads because, yeah,
Yeah.
let's move on.
Okay. quick. I think it's for me. So operations. So for the business owner, Glenn goes back to work after that. For the business owner, preparing your business for your absence and ensuring it runs smoothly. You have to decide how you want your business to operate during the time that you're gone as well. I run a coaching program. And so a couple of things, I work for a company that does coaching, and then I run my own coaching program. And for my own coaching program, I made two things happen. I had to decide what to do with my clients when I wasn't there, which team member was going to manage the calls, etc. So decide how you want the business to operate way before the 30 days so that it doesn't stress you out during the 30 days. Ultimately, if you're a business owner, you want to unplug.
Yeah.
All right, and not all years I could have unplugged.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still needed to check in, but I got
most
into the
part.
business now to the point where look, my clients know 30 days I am gone. Okay, and so decide how you want your business to operate without you, and the goal is to at least run smoothly without you.
Yeah, and for me,
Yes.
my O is off. So I am off from work. Don't call me, don't text me, don't email me, don't voice note me, don't video call me, don't video message, don't FaceTime, don't Facebook, because I'm not gonna respond to you. I'm talking about from a work standpoint. I separate. My vacation is for me, and when I'm at work, I'm at work. And so when I'm off from work, I'm off from work. And so I take that time to replenish, because I know when I come back, I'm going hard. And so most persons know, from a work standpoint, don't email me and don't text me about work, because I'm not going to respond to you. Yeah.
Last but certainly not least, N, and that is navigating locations, selecting and exploring these destinations. You want to add anything there?
In terms of selecting the destination, we usually have a list of countries or places that we would like to visit. And of course, again, making the selection is dependent on how you're feeling, what the finances, the resources, also it's a combination of things. And then I remember one year we were trying to get to Canada from the year before and couldn't get to Canada because nothing was working. Everything that we looked at was not working out. and we just decided to scrap it and go somewhere else. The following year when we decided to go, everything just fall in place. I mean, just line right up. And so sometimes there is annoying.
And then so you can have a list, and then this year we went to California, and it was just because I woke up and I was like, I feel in California.
Yeah.
That's literally how it was. It was not on a list anywhere per se. It was just a vibe. So you decide. And for us, we start talking a year ahead, but we don't decide until like what? Couple of months before.
Because like
And it
now we're
varies.
talking about where's the next vacation, where it's gonna be. And so we have an idea as to where we want to go next year, and then we start to plan, to prepare, to save towards it, and then to finalize it.
Yeah. So that's the vacation planning process on how to boldly break away with a 30-day vacation. And listen, we ran through this because we don't like to keep our episodes long.
Yeah.
If you have any more questions, I'm looking at the notes. There were certain things that we did not touch. So if you want perhaps us to give you kind of a listing of this or share this in detail again, you can watch or just comment below, listing or vacation.
Subscribe and send us a note.
Yeah, and we can send you a list of this, which goes into a lot more detail of how we do this. And so thank you for listening to this episode. We encourage you to... We don't even...
Grow boldly. You've been on vacation too long.
I've been on
Until next
vacation. I
time.
can't even remember how to close the show. Until next time.
Glenn and Keshelle, we are out.